Hi, my name is Karina and this is Film Attic 2013. So today I'll be reviewing the first summer film that I saw, which was X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men Days of Future Past is directed by Bryan and stars the old castmates from the first X-Men, like Hugh, Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and the new castmates like James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and Jennifer Lawrence. So to sum this film up, is basically the original cast members teaming up with the new cast members of X-Men to help save the future. And instead of Kitty Pryde going to the past, Wolverine goes to the past, and they explain it because he is someone who can't age, so he'll still be the same age if he goes to the past, which makes sense. I know some fans were a bit upset because they were like, oh, Kitty should have been the one who went to the past because that's how the comic books are. But to be honest, I actually understand the whole plot, why they did that, and it was really good. This film basically just showed why Bryan Singer directs all the X-Men films. It was just amazing. There was no words to describe how amazing this film is. This film was probably the best X-Men film I've ever watched. I was just intrigued just watching it. I was just sitting there like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. Everything that they've done, just the fight scenes and the story. X-Men have the best story ever. Like, you always care about the characters because they make you feel like the characters are just like us, like real people who have, yeah, they're mutants, but they're also human beings as well. And that's what makes these X-Men films the best. And everybody's performance was amazing. Jennifer Lawrence was amazing as Mystique. James McAvoy was amazing as Professor X, and I love to see that pain that Professor X had, because when you see Professor X from the first X-Men, you always see him as this strong leader who knows how to guide his students, but then in the past you get to see him in this vulnerable state and you're like, oh, this guy really, like, he struggled before, like, with his powers. He wasn't all, oh, I know how to use them and I find them a gift. He didn't find them really as this gift that he knew how to control and everything, and he was just amazing. It was just a great film. There's no bad points from this film. I can't think of any bad points from this film. It's just, it probably is my favorite film of this year. Just, I can't, there's no words to explain what this film was like. I have two favorite scenes from this film. My first favorite scene from this film is when Charles Xavier goes to meet himself in the future, because like I said, that pain that you see from Charles, you can see it right there. That's the scene that you see it the most. I mean, you see it throughout the film, but you're kind of like, okay, but when you see him meet his future self, you're like, oh my goodness. And his future self has to help him through this situation, which is just like how he helped Raven through his situation. Favorite scene of this film. My favorite scene of this film was the Quicksilver scene. Everybody says it, but there is a reason why. Like, even though this film was so great, that was a scene that stuck to my head throughout the whole. That is the scene that stuck in my head when I left the cinema. That is just the scene where I was like, oh my goodness. It just looks amazing how you see Quicksilver in this slow motion and everything happening, and it's just, I would recommend this film to anyone who likes X-Men if you thought that the X-Men The Last Stand was bad, or Wolverine 1, just forget about it. Just forget about it and just watch this film. It's just like for a new generation of people who want to like comic book films. You should start with probably First Class and then this one, because it's a really good film. It's just amazing. So I've rated my film out of 5 and have given it a 5 out of 5 because it is, as I said before, my favourite film of this year. I have put a link below for my blog that I've written about this review for, and you could read it and see if you're interested in it, and you can leave comments on my blog as well as leaving comments on this post below. You could also subscribe, click the subscribe button below as well, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow and review my next film.